So teclistamab is a bispecific antibody therapy. That means that it has two ends of an antibody molecule. You can think of it like that. That means it has two bits that can stick to different things. One side of the antibody molecule can stick to the myeloma cell, and it recognizes a protein called BCMA on the surface of the myeloma cell. The other end can stick to a protein on the surface of an immune cell, an infection-fighting cell. And so that brings those two things together. So it brings the immune system in to target the myeloma. So the Majestec-3 trial was a study that looked at patients who had had at least 1 to 3 prior lines of therapy, and patients were randomized between having the standard of care treatment, which in the trial was considered the combination of daratumumab, pomalidomide and dexamethasone, or daratumumab, bortezomib and dexamethasone, or they were randomized to receive the new combination of teclistamab, the bispecific antibody therapy, combined with daratumumab, which is an antibody therapy that targets something called CD38 on the cell surface. So patients who had previously relapsed whilst taking daratumumab treatment were not eligible for the study, but patients could enter if they had had daratumumab previously, as long as they were not resistant to it. The results of Majestec-3 appear to be really impressive. So from the data that we have seen so far, there was a very large difference in the time for patients' disease to progress that was much, much longer for patients who received the daratumumab-teclistamab combination compared to standard of care. This difference is a bigger difference than we've seen in almost any other study in myeloma so far, suggesting that the daratumumab and teclistamab was really able to keep patients' myeloma in remission for much, much longer than the standard of care treatments. With all of these bispecific antibody therapies, there is a concern about increasing the risk of infection. This is true of lots of myeloma therapies, but is also true with the bispecific antibodies particularly. And so we try to make sure that patients are protected from infection as much as possible. There was a slightly increased rate of infections with the teclistamab-daratumumab combination within the trial, but it was well managed, and in the study, patients were recommended to start on replacement immunoglobulin therapy. After a little while after the trial started, we became aware this was the right approach, and patients were then commenced on immunoglobulin replacement therapy, and we know that that can lower the risk of infections over time. So this is what we standardly do now in practice if we're starting patients on bispecific antibody therapies. So we hope that the combination will be approved by the regulatory authorities as quickly as possible, so that this combination becomes available for patients. Obviously, within lots of healthcare systems, we not only need the approval to come through, but also reimbursement decisions to take place. And so we hope very much that given how excellent the results we're seeing are, that this can all happen as quickly as possible so that these treatments are available for patients.